Complex Mason Podcast. You always know, if you have a business or you have something tricky you want to talk about, you can reach out to me. We can hook up and talk a little bit more and have a podcast like this where we help other people to see your business, see how you think, and just know your philosophy. And I'm so observant. That's part of my duty, all right. And I look out for people who are really doing business and are nailing it, because I realize that the difference between those who are making a hit and those who are not making a hit in business is just a little line and some daily attitude and attributes and things they do every day, commitment and everything. And as a matter of fact, I realized that Mr. Easy here is dominating the real estate business in the Maryland area. Am I right?
Yes, you are. I'm trying to be humble.
Right. So he's killing it. Like, if you drive around the Maryland area and you don't see his board on the side of the road, you're not in Maryland. You're probably in DC.
It's in DC too.
It's in DC too. You see that? So he's everywhere. And the first time I met him in a store, and I could tell this is the guy because I see him everywhere. And I was like, hey, let's have a conversation together. I have a show, and then I'd like you to just, share with us some ideas and your principles. I mean, because I know that there's no success that doesn't come without the work.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you every day on Instagram and in social media. I see you doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at your walls, I saw a lot of clients who have acquired homes from you.
Yeah.
And that, that was enough to tell me that, no, this man is doing what it takes. And this is why we're here, because I have some questions.
Sure.
So I want you to tell those out there, those who are in the real estate business, and those who are also looking to get into property, and those who are just generally working, and those who own a business, I want you to share with them some things or some principles you have decided to, or patterns you've decided to follow to navigate your way to the top in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know one thing, a lot of people are going into this business. All right. Before we start though, I want you to introduce yourself, because a lot of people really know you from the screen and advert, but who really are you?
Well, my name is Easy. I'm a real estate agent in the DMV. I help people buy homes, sell homes. I help people with anything real estate related. I help people do that. That's in a nutshell.
Wow, great. Real estate. We're talking of houses, man. I saw you on social media, on Instagram, and every week, almost every week, you're selling, you're teaching, people are coming in to see what's going on. Wow, and it's a nice office. He has a pretty good, cool office here. Well, just to make use of the time we have, I'm gonna go straight to our questions. And then I'm sure he has the answers to this question, because these questions are revolving around what he does and principles generally to succeed in life. So the first one is, how long have you been in this business?
Well, real estate completely. I started real estate. I've been in real estate about 18 years now. 17, 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I started young.
Started really young.
I didn't think I was young then though, but now I realize I was young then. Yeah, I started young.
Oh,
I started in my 20s, mid-20s.
Wow, yeah, great. Oh, I see. So you're talking about a good 20, 30, 40 years. How long do you think you've been officially in the business?
Officially, to me, I feel when I bought my first property, I purchased it as a business. I wasn't purchasing it as somewhere for me to live. So I bought a 2-bedroom condo, and I stayed in the smaller room, and I rented out the larger room.
Wow.
Because I wanted to use the income my tenant was going to give me to pay for the mortgage, and I still had plans on buying more property. So that was business, It wasn't like I'm buying a place for me to live. Instead of paying rent, I would just get. So I had like a business idea of what I wanted to do.
Right.
So to me, the first property I purchased was when I initially started the real estate business.
Wow, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
A mindset. I try to tapping into the energy of how you think and your mindset. I still don't know how many people will buy a condo and live in a small room and rent the other.
Yeah, it was weird because at that time my friends thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
Because I stayed it's only small. It was really like it was a closet size, a really smaller room, and I rented it, the larger room out so I could get more money.
Wow.
But I was thinking, long term. I was thinking long term.
Right. That was a smart one.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear that. I mean, if you're living in a small home, it doesn't mean you can't afford it.
Yeah.
But you know what you're doing, right?
Making sacrifices.
Yeah, right. So, how long generally, I mean, now this is it's perspective wise, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be accepted by all. But how long do you think it takes to build a successful business?
Successful is relative. Like for me, success is educating the people, teaching people about real estate. So I don't have to have a dime in my pocket, but as long as I spoke to you, and because of my conversation with you, you bought a home and you taught somebody else about buying homes, and the message is going out, I'm smiling, I'm successful to me. But to the next guy, he might want $1 million, or he might want for $100,000. He might want to make money. But success to me is, educating people, educating our people. Especially, I'm really big on immigrants because, I'm from a different country and I know how difficult it was for me to get that knowledge. So I'm really passionate about educating the immigrant community. Hispanic, everybody who's new to America, who's not familiar with the system. So success to me is every time I teach somebody, they don't have to buy, but they listen to me and they start following those steps. I feel successful.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's just me, but some of the guys want money, but I mean, I want money, but I don't, but that comes first.
Oh, great.
In my ranking of success.
Oh, great. Yeah. So relatively, for you, it's people having a knowledge of knowing what the business is all about.
Know what to do.
Oh,
because I came at it from a business perspective, right? But some people just want to buy a home just for their family. And if I'm the voice that helps them take that first step, and they take this step, or even thinking about the step, I'm successful.
Wow.
In my mind. Like I'm happy, like, oh man, Alex is about to get a house, so Alex is at least talking about a house, so Alex is, I'm successful.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty smart one. Yeah. I understand what you mean when you say it's relative, and some people, like you said, it's not really about the money, but it's more the impact. So, how many hours do you spend building your business on a daily basis?
I mean, for me, I work a lot. I work 16 hours, daily.
Wow.
Minimum on a good day 12, but most of the time it's like 16. 16. But I wake up early, then I'm like engaged constantly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if you sleep 16 hours in a day, if you work 16 hours in a day, how many hours do you sleep?
5, 6.
Wow.
Like last night, for example, I was up to about 1:10, 1:15 a.m. Then I had to wake up at, this morning I woke up at 6, so that's 5 hours right there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how many hours do you think a business person should sleep? Someone who's truly serious in their business.
This is what I believe. I don't think, personally, it's my personal opinion. I don't think 40 hours is enough time to really make a huge dent in your business. I just don't think it's enough. Okay. And I think if you really want to excel and exceed your competition, you have to put in more time into it. Because 40 hours is 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like if you're new into something and you really want to dominate that space, or you want your voice to be heard, I feel you should put in more effort.
Oh, great!
Yeah, but that's just my opinion, though. I don't want anybody to think like, hey, that's my opinion, that you'll be able to make more mistakes.
Right.
That's it. That's what experience is. We're making mistakes, right? So the more time I put, the more mistakes I make, and the more I learn. So if you're doing 40 hours a week, and I'm doing 100 hours a week or 80 hours a week, so what it takes you it takes you a year to make a mistake. I make all those mistakes in like 3-4 months. So like I'm just learning faster. Everything is just faster with me. So if you're ahead of me, I catch up to you and surpass you. And if we start on the same level, I just make more mistakes than you and get more experience.
Wow.
That's just my opinion though. I'm not saying people should go out there and do that, but that's just how I feel. And that's why I apply to educating people about real estate, the real estate business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, you're hearing from the champ's mouth right now. This is a person dominating the business in the United States, in Maryland, United States, and in DC area. Now, if you don't know him in the United States, in the Maryland area, ask your brother or your sister. They know him, all right? And he said that he spent about 5 hours a day sleeping, and he spent more time working. And that is how he's been able to build such a business like this. And you are in the real estate business, then I think you want to start thinking of spending more time so you can catch up, like he said, which is relatively though, but it's still part of what he said, and that is his technique of getting here. So if you are looking for a way to get into that point, maybe you want to consider spending more time building your business rather than sleeping, right?
Or partying, or drinking, or watching TV,
right,
playing video games. Like every time you have like that, those little things, it doesn't seem like much, but that's time you could use. And when I say work, I don't mean work like just like posting. That's marketing your business. So if you spend like instead of playing video games, and you spend 30 minutes posting about your business, that's work. You're investing in your business, right? So you can just add those. That's what I feel. That's just my opinion, right?
And I see you posting regularly.
Yeah, because I mean, posting. What I tell people, I make videos about this, is like I have to pay for everything. I pay for marketing, I pay for this. But with social media, it's free. Like Mark Zuckerberg is not going to call me and say, "Hey, Easy, you're posting too much." There's a platform of millions of people that you could let know, this is me, this is what I do, I'm going to do this for you. And you could do it as long as you want, for however time you want. And I think more people, I don't even feel I post enough. I'd love to post like every 30 minutes. Wow. Like but I just don't have enough content. But just constantly posting to educate people about what I do or how I could help them. It depends on your business, whatever your business is, you need to let people know what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. That's great. Okay, great. So now, relatively again, we are on relatively now. At what point do you think someone is supposed to quit a business?
I'm just not wired that way. Like you just go hard till you drop. That's just how I'm wired. And you don't fail unless you quit. If you stop, you failed. But as long as you're just going. Like Michael Jordan, for example, like how many shots he missed before he became, like Kobe Bryant. Those guys, they just kept on going. And that's what it takes for you to be successful, in my opinion. It's like you just don't quit. Right. Because, if it was so easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy to do this, everybody would be doing what you're doing. Right. But you just have to be persistent. And there'll be obstacles, and you're going to fall and you're going to get up. You fall, you get up. So that's just my opinion. Again, it's just my opinion. Some people might say, hey, that's not the business for me. But I believe, you could. I don't know, are you a religious person?
Yeah, I'm a religious person.
Yeah, like, the Bible says that, you could just speak it and you could will it to happen. Right. So, you can will it. But when you quit, you give up. There'll be obstacles, then you find another way to go around it. Then you go a little bit, and there's another obstacle, then you push till you get to the throne. Okay. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Now, maybe quitting is a little bit too intense. So let's put it, I'm going to rephrase it, and I'm going to just modify my question. So, at what point should one think of modifying business strategy?
Or modifying? Of course, every day. Every day I read books. That's part of like working too. When I talk about how much I'm reading books, reading, right now I'm reading a book about sales. I read a lot of books. I mean, I can't sit down and read because I'm just constantly moving, so I do a lot of Audible now. I used to read a lot when I was younger, but now I listen to books when I'm driving. So, you're just learning. from lawn tennis players, they have things you could use that you could apply it to your business. You could just always constantly adjusting, you're adjusting that from learning.
Right.
So that's so so every day basically to answer your question every day.
Right. Yeah. Great. Okay, great. That's a pretty wonderful answer. I mean, it's informative enough to understand that. I mean, you put in enough time to advance your business. And pretty quick, this is also related. All right, we are on a related question right now. Were you ever employed at any point?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've been employed for a long time.
Okay.
A long time I've been. Oh yeah.
So during your transition from being an employee to a businessman, if you can tell us, please, what have you observed, or what have you observed is the reason why so many employees don't want to start a business?
Fear. Fear. I mean, I was an employee for, I think, 2 decades. Decades, though. It's a long time.
Right.
So just imagine you're conditioned and trained to work and get a check. Work and get a check. Every 2 weeks, every week, work and get a check. So when you start your own business, that whole format is gone. So your first thing you think about, how would I pay my rent? How would I pay my car note?
Right.
How, you might have children. How would I pay for the kids? So that fear grips you.
Right.
It grips you. It's a different kind of fear because I felt it before. It grips you. You're like, and in a business like real estate, if you check statistically, right? 90. What's the percentage? Basically, for a new real estate agent, right? The chances of sales for on average, the sales for a new real estate agent is like 1 a year. 1 sale a year. Wow, that's not a lot of money. And the steps it takes to actually succeed in selling a person a house is a lot of. Because first of all, their credit has to be right. Then you have to guide them. Then you have to find the right house that they want. And even after you find the right house, you have to inspect the house to make sure the house is right. So there's just like so many steps before you finally get paid. So in that time, if there's no income coming in, it's daunting. You just be like, man, I can't do this.
Right.
It could take 3 months. So I guess if the deal is about to close, you say, oh wow, this happened. We have to postpone. Then that check you were looking forward to,
it's gone.
Yeah. So the fear factor, that's the biggest thing. Fear of the unknown, conditioned to you and getting used to getting paid every 2 weeks, and having to, that's the hard part.
Okay, so what are the advantages of owning a business?
The advantage of owning a business?
Right.
Yeah, the one thing I hear everybody saying, like, man, you can call out whenever you want. You don't have to, you don't have to answer to no one. That's what I hear a lot. But I've worked. This is the hardest I've worked in my whole life, and I've worked really hard. But so owning a business, you work harder than normal.
Okay.
One advantage for me is I get to use my whole brain. I'm not trying to talk negatively about people who are working, but it makes me think deeper. Just trying to solve problems. Like I'm constantly trying to solve problems. There's no limit to your income.
Right.
There's no stop how much you can make when you own your own business. It's all based on how much hustle you hustle. Your income is based on how much hustle, effort you put into it.
Right.
And so I'm trying to think. Okay, so there are so many small advantages. Not having to. I don't want to say this one though. Being in control of your destiny. There's a feeling that you have. Just knowing you're in total control of your destiny that I just didn't have when I worked at a company.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, you did pretty great. That was pretty great enough. So now I just want us to be able to track by statistics, relatively again. How much do you think someone who makes $150,000 annually, how much do you think that person should spend on cars, house, and vacation. Someone with a network of $150,000 a year.
I think they should try to invest as much as they can. $150,000 a year, but when you make $150,000 a year, you have to cut that by like 30% that you pay in taxes. I'm not sure if that's the exact figure, but you have to pay taxes on that. And it's decent money, but it will help you more if you invest. And that's why I love real estate, because real estate is one of those things you could invest in and you're actually benefiting from. So it's not like investing in stocks, which is good too, but you're paying rent regardless, right?
Right.
Like, you can't escape not paying rent unless you're living with your parents, but you're paying rent regardless. So you purchase a property where you're going to live in, and instead of paying your landlord rent, you're technically paying yourself rent. And at the same time, the value of that property that you're paying yourself rent to is increasing. So I just recently had a client of mine. She purchased a home in the 90s, like 97. She paid $78,000 for that property, and she lived there. She's not any enrichment, she's just paying to live in DC. I sold the property for about 2 weeks ago, and we sold that property, that same property she's just been living in, paying the same exact amount of money for 30 years, for $700,000. Wow. That's 10 times profit, 10 times. Now look at that, $700,000.
Yeah.
And she paid $78,000.
Right.
And she just lived there. So she didn't start a business, or there wasn't that risk thing. Like, let's say you started your own restaurant business. There's none of that. She just lived in the house and she made $700,000. Right. That's not bad. So that's why I love real estate.
Right.
Another reason why I love real estate. That's not actually a question. But right. But you get my
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
So
I get it.
$150,000, you should invest as much as you can. And even if you don't invest in anything else, invest in yourself in terms of like where you live.
Okay.
Yeah, is what I say.
Okay. So let's be a little bit more. Let's break it down a little bit. Someone who makes $150,000 a year, how much do you think that person should save or invest? How much do you think the person should save or invest?
At least 30 to 40%, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would say. But it all depends on the person.
Okay.
I was making that and I was saving more. I'm really big on saving. I started saving at a very young age. So like, saving is really, really important. So there's saving and there's investing. But like, just saving to invest is a really, really, I feel like that person should save at least 30 to 40% minimum.
Oh, right, minimum. All right.
Minimum. That's just, it's just my opinion.
All right.
Yeah, like my opinion. Like, somebody living in downtown DC might feel $150,000 not enough money, but how would I even save on $150,000? Somebody might feel that way.
Yeah, right.
But like, like what I did, for example, I lived in a smaller room to rent out this other bigger room so I could save more.
Okay.
So sacrifices like that is necessary. It's not going to be easy. You have to make sacrifices for the long term, so you could,
Right.
That's what I feel.
All right. Okay. Let's put it this way again. I'm trying to twist this question, so it can actually be, so that it can probably touch every angle. So whoever's listening or watching can actually see how it fits in, or how it talks to him. All right. So if a person who earns $150,000 a year, do you think a person earning $150,000 a year should buy a car worth maybe $40,000?
Tough one. I don't want to make people mad.
We gotta make people mad.
I don't want to make people mad.
Yeah, like okay. I mean, let's talk about you right now.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what you can do and what you can't do. Yeah, what you can do and what you can do. Let's just say you make $150,000 a year.
Yeah.
Can you spend $40,000 buying a car?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Can you spend $60,000 buying a car?
How long have you been making $150,000 though?
I'm not gonna say it on.
No, I don't mean you. No, I don't mean you personally.
All right,
the person we're talking about.
Okay.
I've been working for like 10 years already, and they still make 150,000, or did they just get a job today making 150,000?
Okay, let's just say for the past 5 years.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, that's what you want. Yeah.
Okay.
Like you can still have both. Like you can still have that luxury vehicle and still invest.
Okay.
Because you know, like that 150,000, you're gonna take 60,000 immediately and put for the car.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna be a monthly payment.
Right.
But as long as you just set aside some amount of money for investing in your future, or your house, right?
Right.
That's kind of like a tough question, though.
Yeah, like, it's also it's also relative, right? Different people, different, depends on how you make the money as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending who pays you, how they pay you.
How many children you have.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I get it. So these are some of the questions that I pretty have for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people might be curious, who are you and how can they reach you? So how can listeners reach you?
Oh man, I'm everywhere. I'm on social media. Well, anyway, let me give you my number. My number is 301-559-2872. I'm on Instagram under the name EZE_OKWODU. I have a hashtag, which is hashtag the easy way. That's THEEZEWAY. I'm on Facebook, EZE, last name OKWODU. I'm on LinkedIn under the same name. I'm on Twitter. I'm on TikTok. I'm everywhere under the same name. I'm not hard to find.
All right, thank you very much. And this is Alex Mason Podcast. You always know, if you have a business or you have something tricky you want to talk about, you can reach out to me. We can hook up and talk a little bit more and have a podcast like this where we help other people to see your business, see how you think, and just know your philosophy in life. Thank you very much for staying tuned to Alex Mason Podcast. All right, see you some other time.